Okay, fam, we are making our soul food Sunday soul food meal today. We have our collard greens, our candied yams, our squash medley, and the black eyed peas on the stove cooking. So I want to make a separate video to show you how to make vegan cornbread. So you can't have collard greens without cornbread, right? Or have cornbread without collard greens. So I'm gonna make this. I just found a recipe online. I've never had vegan cornbread before, and so this is gonna be my first time making it, and I am gonna trust that it's gonna turn out wonderful. So the ingredients are gonna be all-purpose flour, cornmeal, sugar, salt, baking powder, and unsweetened almond milk, and canola oil. So this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take, the recipe calls for a 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. So let me get that out first. And this is a 1/2 cup that I have here, so I'm gonna put in 2 to make that a cup. 1, 2, and it says a 1 1/4. So then I'm gonna do, whoa, well that's a little bit too much. And then about a 1/2. So that's a 1/4, that's 1 cup and a 1/4. And then it calls for 1 cup of cornmeal. So I'm gonna put 2 1/2 cups in there. That's 1, that's 2. So got the cornmeal and the flour in there. And it also calls for 2/3 cup of sugar. I'm not gonna put that much sugar in there because we're weaning off of sugar. So instead of putting 2/3 cup in there, let's put about 1/2 of that amount. So just about that much sugar. And then it calls for a teaspoon of salt. I think we can leave the salt out. And a tablespoon of baking powder. Okay, so we're gonna put a tablespoon of baking powder in here. Sorry, I thought I had my spoon out. So a tablespoon of baking powder. Got that in there. And it calls for a cup and a 1/4 of unsweetened almond milk and a 1/3 cup of canola oil. So we're gonna use just regular vegetable oil. So let me go get that. Which I forgot to bring over here. So we're gonna use, how much? A 1/3 cup of canola oil. This is vegetable oil, but we're gonna use a 1/3 cup of that. And then it calls for 1 1/4 cup of almond milk. So I'm just gonna play that by ear because there's a certain thickness that I like my my almond milk. And so I'm gonna just put in, I'm gonna start with just a cup first. So a cup first, stir that up, and then if it's not the thickness that I like, then I'm going to add a little bit more milk because I don't want it to be too soupy. Okay, so another 1/4 cup should be fine, and it should be just the consistency that I like. So I put in another 1/4 cup of almond milk. So now we have our vegan version of cornbread. Let's see how this is gonna taste and how this is gonna be. So, okay, we've got everything stirred up. Again, that is a 1 1/4 cup of flour, a cup of cornmeal, just a little dab of sugar, maybe about like I don't know, just a few tablespoons of sugar. No, we left the salt out. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and a cup and a 1/4 of almond milk, and a 1/3 cup of canola oil, which we substituted for vegetable oil. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this vegetable oil spray. Instead of using butter to put in my muffin pan, I'm gonna use this vegetable oil spray. So I'm just gonna spray all of the muffin pans, so they won't stick. And then we're just gonna take our 1/4 cup here, a 1/3 cup here, and then just put 1 in each muffin pan like this. So just pour each one in there like that. Don't fill it all the way to the top. Fill it about 3/4 of the way so that it has room to rise. Okay? Can you see that? Okay, do it here. So what we're doing is we're just pouring the cornbread mix in there, about 1/3 of a cup up. Now if that was cake mix, I would lick that I just put up on the side. But I don't think raw cornmeal mix is gonna taste the same or as appetizing as raw cake mix. Okay, so I think we got just enough for 6 muffins. So we're gonna put one more in here, about 3/4 of the way. And I think we got just enough for one more, which makes it 6 muffins evenly. Okay, so let's scoop out all of this mix and then put that in our very last muffin cup here. Shake all of that excess off. Okay, and I'm gonna just wipe that off with my hand so that doesn't cook on the side. Okay, so now we have our vegan muffins. The oven has been preheated at 400 degrees and we're just gonna pop these in the oven and let them cook. And then it will complement our meal. I put that on the top rack. So now we got everything cooking, and when everything gets done, then we'll be ready to put all of our food together and have a delicious Sunday soul food meal. So I shall see you on the next video. Oh, how about that? Mwah.